Hello and welcome to Building Solutions presentation of Lessons Learned with COVID-19 in the education field. We are very excited to be a part of the 2020 Texas Public Charter School Association Conference. My name is William Dillard and I'm the Marketing Director at Building Solutions. And speaking with me today is Joe Rayburn, the Sales Director at Building Solutions. I will present a brief introduction about the firm, and Joe will continue the presentation with information about the lessons we have learned about schools since the outbreak of the pandemic. Building Solutions was formed in 1990. We're celebrating 30 years of existence. We have over 150 educational institutional clients with a national reach in 38 states. We are facility technical advisors and provide multiple services that include assessments, project management, and operations improvement. We have a very large database that we utilize for benchmarking to help our clients make decisions that positively impact their campuses. We have reviewed thousands of buildings across millions of square feet. And as a firm, we have a professional commitment in multiple organizations, including the Texas Public Charter School Association, of which we have been members for at least the past 5 years.
Specific to Texas and even more specific to charter schools, we've worked with a number of charter schools on small renovation projects. Certainly in response to COVID-19, we've been involved in a bunch of minor adjustments to create a more safe environment for students. And there are charter districts that we have built entire campuses for as their construction manager and program manager. So you see a list here of some of the schools we've worked with. Man, we couldn't get them all on there. So if you don't see your school represented, no, that doesn't mean that we didn't love working with you.
Building Solutions services schools across 3 areas: assessment, project management, and operations and improvement. On the assessment, we will come to your campus and provide what's referred to as a facility assessment or facility audit for your campus. And that means we will come out and analyze your facilities, your exterior, your rooftop, the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, other components within, other scopes of work within these buildings, and provide you a guide and a long-term plan to ensure that these buildings have the opportunity to be properly maintained throughout their current life cycle. And this is a wonderful document, a living, breathing document that schools utilize through the full life cycle of that building in the other buildings on their campus. Yet the other services are project management, to where we are representing you as the owner's rep. When you have a building that you are ready to build, or you are in the process of developing a master plan with multiple buildings, or you are looking for a new building and you need a site, you don't even know where to start, we are here to help provide those services to ensure you get the facility that you are looking for. And on the operations improvement, we provide services that include energy, sustainable certifications such as LEED, and local permitting support when it comes to green building or other type of local regulations to ensure that you can get the permits needed to move your buildings forward when it comes to construction or renovation or whatever it may be. So that's just a brief overview of the services that our firm provides. And now I'm going to transition to Joe Rayburn, who will talk about the Clean Slate program that came out as a result of this pandemic and the lessons learned that we have accumulated over our research and services to our clients across the nation since the pandemic began.
Thanks, Bill. And thank you to Charter School Association. We're thrilled to be selected to present. What a crazy year 2020 has been for us, huh? We learned of the seriousness of COVID-19 very early on. Initially, it hit our radar as we were discussing taking an assignment to commission a few international schools in mainland China. And there was this news of a new viral outbreak. And that perked our spidey senses. Then our West Coast schools began to ask us what we knew about the disease. And before you know it, we have school clients in New York and Manhattan, all over the Northeast, start ringing in and saying, "Hey, what do you guys know about this?" And then bang, it's everywhere. So we began to formulate a response to the threat in a way of helping schools safely and efficiently close down their campuses and then re-energize when shelter in place was over, and we all thought it was going to be a couple of weeks. Quickly, we realized this was going to be much, much more intensive than that. We began educating ourselves and our assessments team on how we can help schools operate safely with epidemic conditions in place. It's really easy to read every report that every organization puts out there and feel like you've become an expert on COVID-19, on disease transmission, on viral spread, on constitutional law. Very soon after this undertaking and trying to create this initiative, we saw the need for support, the need for advice, the need for counsel, because we're trying to provide that to you, right? We're trying to provide support, advice, and counsel to you as our client schools. We realized we needed somebody backing us up. So we put together a 17-person interdisciplinary team of professionals from all over the country with a very diverse, very applicable backgrounds and experience from healthcare, building commissioning and engineering, design professionals, educators, other specialists associated with healthcare and education. And we've made this Respiratory Health Threat Advisory Council available to client schools through our Clean Slate program. In fact, a number of you guys probably listening to this have taken advantage of that. You've called us and we've put you in contact with maybe an air conditioning system specialist to have a consultative view of your indoor air quality, or maybe you needed to speak to an architect about how to more appropriately utilize your space. A number of you requested facility audits so that you would know exactly the condition of your building and what space you were going to be able to use and where you could safely put students. So I know some of you were familiar with this, and really what we want to talk about here quickly is what the Clean Slate program was, and that's only so that we can inform you on how we landed at lessons learned. And really funny to say lessons learned since we're all still learning about COVID-19. Well, let's talk a little bit more about what Clean Slate is. Clean Slate is a pathway to reopening schools by adopting new policies and procedures for operating and managing your campus facilities resources. Knowing that there's an unyielding supply of reports and recommendations and stories out there about COVID-19, the first thing we did was to create this safe space for schools to gain access to real, unpoliticized information regarding operating safely during the pandemic. Our team carefully selects articles and information from trusted professional organizations and publications. Then we further vet those reports through our Respiratory Health Advisory Council. Once we all kind of give it the green light and the nod and it ticks all the boxes, we house them at the website you see here on the slide, www.buildingsolns.com/clean slate. On that site, you'll find informative videos, articles like the ones we're talking about there, CDC guidelines, TEA guidelines, any number of things that would be helpful and beneficial in making decisions about keeping your campus safe while this pandemic is in place. We went on to create a survey for schools, which many TCSA members have taken advantage of. And we created this so that we could assess each school's preparedness to return to campus. At the end of the survey, schools are awarded a peer preparedness index, which identifies how your school's response compares to schools that are similar to you. Uh, the next step in the Clean Slate initiative is a very thorough review of your campus plan for controlling the viral spread. We look at three categories, and we'll discuss those three categories in coming slides. But essentially, we're looking at cleaning and sanitizing, your campus operations, and your campus facilities. In preparing this and creating Clean Slate, we became increasingly aware that there was a need and a desire for content, for information, for guidance. So we partnered several times with the Charter School Association and provided webinars. We've done webinars on COVID-19's effect on school security, on space utilization, on indoor air quality, on the Clean Slate program itself. We've been very active in making sure that schools were getting qualified, unbiased guiding principles that they could use as they started to make their reopening plans. And finally, we now have a periodical that is being sent out to schools all over the country, and we call it the COVID Times. It is quasi-monthly, but we certainly reserve the right to toss something out there if there's a new development or a big news that has to do with schools and the virus. Each month in that, we'll have success stories from schools who we've helped open successfully, and you can see what they did. We have recommendations from our team. We have recommendations and articles from members of our Respiratory Health Advisory Council. Very important, very informative, very quick read, and certainly something that benefits the entire community. We talked about Clean Slate, addressing a school's response to COVID-19 using three categories, and these are the categories. First, cleaning and sanitizing. The way we disinfect and clean our facilities has been forever changed by COVID-19. Our usage of supplies and equipment will intensify, as will the demand we place on our cleaning teams, our janitorial staff, our facilities operations guys. This is going to be a very impactful event, both in employee time, training, and cost. The second category we look at is campus operations. Social distancing is really the driving factor in how we see campus operations changing. The usage of space has become exceedingly important in considering how safe it is to have students and staff back in our buildings. And finally, where most of you have engaged Building Solutions before and you know us from is as facilities experts, the demand that COVID-19 is going to place on our facilities teams and our physical plant operations is coming into clearer focus. And this challenge is daunting. In fact, we're going to be talking about lessons learned. And our very first lesson learned ongoing that we feel will be ongoing even past the pandemic affects facilities. So these are the categories that we use when we evaluate a school's campus plan. We'll be looking for gaps in your protocols that you've created. We'll be looking for areas where it might create some friction. Hey, if you do this, you're going to have to adjust the way you did this type examples. Very thoughtful, very easy to read report that's generated through the Clean Slate initiative. So we're learning what our new normal is going to look like. Let's talk about lessons we've learned. Folks, this is a really interactive presentation that usually has a lot of questions. So I would encourage you, our contact information is on the following slide as you listen to this. Make some notes, jot down your question in an email, and we'll be very fast to address it. But, when you hear that term new normal, people look at what we're doing right now and get scared. They think, well, I don't want, this isn't normal. I don't want to live like this. And it won't be all of it. I compare this very much to our airport security response to 9/11. If 20 years ago you'd told me that I couldn't pull into the Whataburger drive-in, order my lunch, screech to a stop at Love Field Airport, jump out, go to the Southwest counter, buy a $75 ticket to Houston, jump right on the plane, eat my Whataburger on the plane, and in 40 minutes be standing at Hobby Airport, I'd have told you you're crazy. That's what we do. That's how we travel, especially in Texas. Southwest was like the Pony Express back then. Um, well, that changed. And we did it to make things safer, and we did it to protect the citizenry. And that's our new normal. We don't take our food through security anymore. We don't even take shampoo through security anymore. We take off our shoes, we take off our belts. Some of us get patted down. We take our laptops out of our bags. And man, can you remember in 2001, 2002, what a whip that seemed like? You know, just man, I've had to get to the airport an hour early. Well, now that's the new normal. And folks, that's what the new normal is going to be. We're going to assimilate into some things. Look at our response to Covington, Sandy Hook, Columbine, the school shootings. I've got an 8-year-old, third grader, who comes home and flippantly tells me about the lockdown drill they had that day, the same way I might have said to my dad, oh, we had a fire drill. Just part of life now. So those are the things that we're being very cognizant of as we start to advise our schools. Where do we put our money? We want to make some changes to our campus to make our staff and our students safer, healthier, more comfortable. We want parents to feel safe that their kids are in a spot where their health is first and foremost a priority. So what do we spend our money on? How do we do this? Do we buy plexiglass? Do we do we put air scrubbers in the room? What things are working? Well, let's talk about those things. And I chuckled at lessons learned earlier in the presentation because we're all still learning. Think about how much this has changed day to day. CDC on it is airborne, it's not airborne. Asymptomatic doesn't have to get tested. Asymptomatic has to get tested. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Man, everybody's learning. Even the experts aren't experts yet. So we're going to share with you what we know. Those of you that know our company know that we're very conservative. You can feel confident when we share information that it is duly vetted. There are a number of things that people in our firm have individual opinions on, but we're only going to talk about the things today that that we feel are going to be part of not just our response to COVID-19, but more our response to employee health, student safety, just a healthier environment in general. This is COVID-19 could be a catalyst that kickstarts some very, very important initiatives in our environmental systems within buildings. So let's talk about what we're doing. We got some temporary responses that everybody's doing, and these temporary responses are important. We live in a competitive environment in the charter school space. Our kids don't have to go to this school, they choose to. And the most important thing we can do right now is make students, staff, and mama feel comfortable dropping the kids off at the corner. Because until mama feels safe doing it, there ain't anybody coming back to campus. So we do these things. We do temperature checks. We have a lot of schools doing temperature checks. We're employing social distancing. We've gotten way out in front of what we thought would be supply chain constraints on getting cleaning supplies, sanitation supplies, personal protection equipment. We're employing social distancing in our classroom. We're eating in a confined space. We're limiting access to the playground. We're doing music class differently. We're doing athletics and band and fine arts, all these things differently. Our kids are wearing masks. Our staff is wearing masks. All these things are important. They are very visible, high-profile responses to a virus that's scaring people. So it's important. Now, there are some more permanent changes. These are the things that we think are going to make up the, quote, new normal when it comes to facilities management, building operations, campus management. First and foremost, and the one that our firm feels the most comfortable recommending to clients to invest your money is your indoor air quality. We're not going to make all these changes to improve the quality of air in response to COVID-19 and then develop a vaccine and in 2 years go, okay, everybody just go back to breathing that cruddy old air you were breathing before. We're not going to do that. That's not the way the world works. We take these advances and we move forward. Sometimes it's a positive thing that causes the change, and sometimes it's in response to a crisis like this. So indoor air quality, we're going to have ASHRAE has already made new recommendations. Those ASHRAE recommendations, more times than not, are adopted into code. So more stringent filtration is going to be a new normal. More fresh air brought into your air handling system is going to be a new normal. More ventilation is going to be a new normal. Some type of treatment of that air, whether it's UV lights treating the air within the air system, bipolar ionization treating the air and having a more molecular approach to treatment, or it might be air scrubbers in the room and air purifiers next to the teacher's desk. Either way, indoor air quality is going to be something that sticks and is a part of what we do going forward for a long time. So great place to invest. We have a program that we have developed in response to this, which is a 3-phased evaluation of your HVAC system. It's very important to understand what you have before you make decisions on what you're going to do. Simply going out and increasing your filtration from a MERV 4, MERV 7, very low filtration filter to a MERV 13, which is tightly filtered enough to trap viral particles, can have a devastating impact on your air conditioning system if you've got a lot of deferred maintenance and your air conditioning system was close to failure. The amount of pressure you're going to build up pulling air through something that stringent can actually cause unrecoverable damage. So now, in your very quick response and very appropriate response to the virus, you wind up having to replace a $100,000 air conditioning system. So the first thing we advise is let's do a thorough evaluation of what you've got and what the condition is. We certainly advise a consultative approach to that, not a contractor. Not because contractors are bad dudes, but because they are motivated differently. A contractor, it might be a financial motivation. They may really be hurting because of the pandemic, and this is an opportunity to get some work for their guys. It could be that they're limited in what they can recommend because they're only approved to work with certain manufacturers, and those manufacturers have limited responses. A number of reasons to employ a consultant over a contractor. Consultant is unbiased. It's going to be a real tell it like it is report. And then from that report, you would certainly generate a request for proposal, have that request for proposal distributed to qualified and vetted contractors, and let those contractors then all make a bid on the same recommendations that provides the same service, allowing the school to be good stewards of their money, good stewards of the facilities, and make informed decisions rather than just reactionary decisions. Another thing that we see coming out of COVID-19 is the utilization of space. If your school has not had a professional space utilization study done, I would expect that your board would be open to one and may even be suggesting one. Social distancing requirements are going to be slow to unwind. I don't think you're going to be looking at packed football stadiums next fall. I don't think you're going to be looking at packed graduations and fine arts performances, everybody back into the lunchroom. So certainly important to be able to understand what space you have and what space you're going to be able to use. Space utilization studies are done by licensed architects who specialize in education and in utilizing that space. We've got a number of partners that we work with at Building Solutions that we have been very pleased to take into our charter school clients and have thorough evaluations done so we know the most cost-effective way to use our space that supports our culture, that supports our community, and the pedagogy of the school. Other things that we see becoming the new normal, you're going to see contactless food delivery come into effect probably within the next calendar year. Cashless pay systems, if you're not already using that. You'll see more dependence on distance learning. People are going to have different comfortabilities coming back to campus, and you certainly need to make sure that you have the IT infrastructure, access to technology to support those students who are distance learning. I mean, sorry kids, but gone are the days of snow days. I don't think we'll have snow days anymore. I think we'll all just hop over to Schoology or whatever distance learning platform you're using, and we'll engage the students while they watch here in Texas, while they impatiently watch the snow melt. But those are going to be part of the new normal. We're seeing a lot of emphasis on restroom facilities, on touchless doors, touchless entry systems, the ability for teachers and staff to see how many kids are in the restroom via a light system or an alert system. Certainly touchless apparatus and appliances within the restroom have been around for a long time, but you see schools now embracing them with touchless faucets and paper towel dispensaries and commodes. We see schools removing the mirrors from the restrooms and placing small individual sized mirrors at make-ready areas out in a hallway so that students, ladies, are less likely to congregate in the mirror. Although I gotta say, I had a bunch of friends in high school that were guys who were quite the primpers as well. So that may be for all of us. But restrooms will certainly be a place that would be a smart place to invest your response to the respiratory health threat funds. Folks, we're learning every day, just like you are. And like I said, there are a number of other areas within campus operations that we feel confident in promoting. We feel confident in identifying as part of the new normal, but we're still learning. So right now, that's where we are. Please take our contact information and ask us questions individually. Email Bill Dillard. His contact information is there, our director of marketing, so you can get on the distribution list for the COVID times. You'll see our opinions on indoor air quality, on restrooms, on social distancing, space planning, all these things. As we get more comfortable hanging our hat on them, we'll be sharing with everybody. So I want to wish everybody good health, stay safe, good luck the rest of this school year. And man, I hope next year we're all back down there at some fancy resort and having a good time and getting some fellowship with each other. We certainly need it. That's been the thing about COVID-19 that's been the most frustrating, is that anytime tragedy hits our country, we come together. That's who we are as a people. When 9/11 happened, we had prayer vigils, we had memorial services, we had concerts. I still remember the Giants had a home game. The New York Giants had a home football game the Sunday following that Tuesday. Major League Baseball canceled their games, but the Giants said, we're going to play. It was the first game that they broadcast the national anthem besides the Super Bowl. They had stopped broadcasting the national anthem on pro football games, but they did on that game. And man, in the middle of it, they just unfurled the big flag and the banners, and they started chanting USA, USA. And as they went to commercial, Pat Summerall couldn't speak, and not that he was choked up, you just couldn't hear him. And when they came back, it was still deafening. I mean, they came back from a 4-minute commercial, and it's still just cascading with USA chants, and you couldn't hear the announcers. But I mean, that's who we are. We support each other. We hug each other. I haven't given my mom a hug since March. That's crazy, because we come together. And COVID-19 hit us, and we were told, go be by yourself. Lock yourself in your house. don't see your friends, don't do all these things that bring us together. And that's difficult for us. So I know we're all struggling, but man, let's stay the course. Let's be good examples in our community. Let's be good leaders for our kids and our students, and let's get this ship back on course. And man, it only has to start with one person. There's no reason it can't be us. So please reach out to us if we can help. And I thank you for your time, Bill. I'm going to turn this back over to you. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you again, everybody, for attending our session. We hope you were able to walk away with something to take back to your campus. Please reach out to Joe or myself if you have any questions about this situation in school campuses. We've learned a lot over these past number of months and continue to do so. So we look forward to being able to